Okay, folks. Last topic for today for me. Um, the Charlie Kirk assassination and conspiracy plots and theories and things like that. I'll just begin by saying, heaven knows that no one loves a good conspiracy theory like me, but you got to give me a reason to believe it. So I've heard a bunch so far on Charlie Cook. I even have some of my own questions, but I've yet to see any real evidence of anything that uh, contradicts the official story, or as much as we know about it. I have a feeling authorities are keeping their information close to the vest and don't want to jeopardize the trial. And so I suspect that when this comes to trial, that we're going to be overwhelmed with the evidence. But you know, I love a conspiracy theory if you can convince me of it. But at this point, if I was a betting man, well, let me put it this way. I think that Tyler Robinson thinks that he killed Charlie Kirk and he was the lone assassin with one bullet. Now, whether there's evidence to disprove that, but when you think about it, though, if you're an assassin 200 yards away and you're not aware of any other shooters, although there might be other shooters, and you shoot off a round, how do you know that it was your bullet that killed him? So it's my belief that Tyler Robinson believes that he's the shooter and killer, and hence the confessions, the strange behavior, the hiding the weapon, going back to get the weapon, hoping to dispose of it. It was too late. There was too many people around, so he's left it there. He's got DNA on the towel and on the screwdriver. So it's my conviction that at least he believes he's the killer. Whether he is or not, show me some proof to the otherwise, and yeah, it's like the JFK thing. Like, if Oswald thought if he actually shot a gun that day, which I don't believe he did, but let's assume that he did shoot a bullet or shoot that day from the uh, sixth floor of the book depository building, and let's say there was other shooters, which I believe there were, at least one on the grassy knoll, maybe another one in the Daltex building across the street, and everybody's shooting at the same time. How does any one of those shooters know which bullet actually killed John F. Kennedy? So I listened last night to a good podcast on my beloved guy called Richard Syrett, a Canadian, wonderful guy. He has a podcast called the Conspiracy Show or Conspiracy Channel or something like that. And he had some guy on his show, had some interesting thoughts. This guy had spent, not a professional investigator, but a 30 years of trying to explain his friend's claim to be suicide. He was suicided. And he set out to disprove it. And in the process, he became a kind of reporter too, as well, and was talking to arms specialists and CIA specialists and Mossad specialists and about how assassinations really go down. And I can't remember everything he said, but he said something about they like to create a killing zone and then insert all these different characters into the zone, so no one knows really what happened when it comes to the bullets. And he says that's kind of textbook spycraft. But anyway, so I do have some questions about Charlie. People claim that the videos don't look like him, and I say they look exactly like him to me. But this guy I was listening to was talking about the poor quality of closed circuit TVs, and then the fact that there was a closed circuit TV with grainy footage panning following Tyler Robinson as he's leaving the building area, leaving the grounds. And that, to him, raised a bunch of red flags. That was the first time I ever heard that, and I thought, oh yeah, now that you mentioned it, I did see some panning footage. And he claims that to have panning footage, it's not automatic panning. It has to be somebody manually or remotely controlling that, watching him. So I thought, oh wow. So there are some interesting questions, and I'm open to, any sort of theory, but oh my heavens, I'm sick and tired of, I don't know. Candace Owens and all her, I like most of what she says, but I don't always like her delivery, and it's kind of like the emotional woman approach where she hits you with more emotion than tries to win arguments, in my opinion, with emotion rather than with hard facts. So far, and then there was this lady, a Japanese woman cop, that was analyzing some of the footage and saying that there was maybe a guy with a camera gun behind Charlie, and he was shooting. And then there was a guy with another looking camera gun, not a phone gun, a camera gun that looks like he might be shooting something. And then he kind of just, in the aftermath of the shooting, backs out of the crowd, backs into the flow of the crowd, and just exits immediately. So there are some funny things. Then there's the guys with the hand signals like they're on third base, communicating with someone, something. It's not obvious what they're doing, but it's raises questions. And so there's plenty to be suspicious about, but I suspect that the FBI and the local authorities are keeping their cards close to their vest. And so this should be an interesting trial. But anyways, those are my thoughts, basically. And so, unless I see something, so far the most convincing evidence I see is the video of Tyler going into the building with what looks like a disassembled gun in his pants, with you can see the butt of the gun, and then jumping off the roof with what looks like a towel covering the gun, a long, stiff, rifle length thing being covered with a towel, and he calmly jumps off the roof, and then there's a lot of people making note of the wardrobe changes. Okay, what's so difficult about that? What's so difficult to understand about that? So, and then, anyways, it's like, oh, and then what would Charlie be doing at a Dairy Queen? Not Charlie, Tyler doing at a Dairy Queen. after the shooting. Well, as he claimed, he fled immediately and was going to go back there and get the gun and wait till things cleared up and then go back and get the gun quietly and dispose of it. But in the end, he couldn't. So, anyways, it doesn't seem that strange to me. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.